All righty. Thank you for joining the Zoom this morning from our lesson on serenity and wisdom level 3. What are something that are still fresh in your mind? What are some lesson, impression, or realizations since Wednesday? Mute, unmute.
Uh, hmm. Fresh in my mind. Oh yeah, yeah. The reality triangle serenity was. I, I mean, I the material aspect was to know, um, and then the information side is just the will to know. So the differentiation between those two was was something that I didn't recall, but yeah, now it's stuck in my mind. One is just and the other one it's just there.
Good, good. Okay, good. That is an important distinction to make. Okay, that is a very important distinction to make. Okay, because knowing, okay, knowing or believing or understanding, that is something that we do.
Yeah,
That is a
lots.
behavior, that is an action, that is a material reality.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But the will, the will to know, it's conceptual, it's empty. Okay. And the energy, do you remember the energy of
Yeah,
serenity? Okay.
non-attachment,
All
detachment.
righty. Yep. Okay. And what's the benefit of that? What's the benefit of having that reality triangle?
Well, if you detach from something, there is no emotion, there's just no thinking about it. So it allows you to reset. I guess that's the main point is to help you be in more clarity. Yeah.
There you go.
Just like the ripple in the water. If you let it settle down, there's no more ripples.
Yeah. And I like you say the word reset. You said reset, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know how your phone and your computer, if you use it after a while, they slow down, they get bogged up, they get all those electrical charges in all the capacitor and they get stuck.
Yeah.
Okay. So our mind, our emotion, even our physical body, they will get stuck after a while.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a reset button. We have a reset button.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that is the serenity button. That emptiness, the state of emptiness. And when we can let it go, we reset ourselves. Okay, blank page, start over, and the end result, the outcome of it, is a state of inner peace, which leads to joy. It is a state of being balanced, leading to a positively oriented way of being. Balanced and positively oriented way of being. Okay, so that's wonderful. Um, yep. Okay. Letting go of what? Remember? Letting go of what? What do we stop? What do we drop? What do we seize or release in order to get to that state of balance and emptiness? What do we let go of?
By you mean letting go of what we know, what we hear, see, and talk?
We actually let go of our desire and imagination.
Oh, right, right.
Okay, yeah. We, as human being, we desire and imagine wealth, form, identity, eating and resting.
Mm-hmm.
And those desire give rise to all other human natures. Okay.
Right.
And these are the waves and the winds and the storm It is desire and imagination that is central focus to human nature, and it is desire and imagination that gives to positive and negative outcomes in life. And the moment we just let go of desire and imagination, we are no longer thinking and wanting things until we can much more simply let go. And when we can let go, we can feel peace. Okay. We don't want to let go forever. Okay. We don't want to drop it forever. We don't want to lose our desire. We don't want to lose sight of our goals. But any moment in the day, if we just practice letting go, okay, we reset. Letting go, we reset. And we get ourselves in the state of nice and balanced, and we feel peace. We let go and we switch, okay, rotate that triangle to desire. We rotate to different levels of wisdom. Okay, with the wisdom level three is emptiness, is serenity. Once you feel peace, switch,
Which back?
switch back. Okay, reinitiate the desire, cast the line for the fishing. Mhm. Okay, because if we just let go and we don't do anything, we become complacent. Right? We can become complacent, and we know that according to causality and the understanding that we are living off of the merit and the blessing that we have earned, just like a bank account that is draining. If we don't put money into the bank account, we keep on expending, it will eventually run out. Same thing with our life. If we um, don't create any value, even though we stay in this state of, peace and serenity, and we just feel nice and peaceful and balanced. But if we don't initiate any desire and we don't create value for other people, then we are expending that merit and that blessing. Breathing itself cost some credit, right?
Plus,
Our heart is beating. Okay, we're expending energy, and if we do nothing, then we're going to expend it, and so it will get depleted, and our life would actually go down. So we have to reinitiate desire, reinitiate imagination for wealth, for form, for identity, for eating and resting, for ourselves and other people. The four, the four debt of gratitude for survival motivation. It's about that. And so we replenish our spiritual merit and blessing, and so our life will get better. Right? But knowing and being able to release, to cease, to stop, and to drop the burden of our mind and our emotion is a wonderful, powerful reset button. Right? Yeah. Do you feel that you have more of an expanded awareness on human nature and your own ability to rise above life's problem now that we have level three wisdom and awareness and the concept of serenity?
yeah. Well, I find that you don't get overwhelmed with emotions anymore, right? And constant thinking, that's another issue. So
Yeah.
understanding that, then yeah, because before I always thought, I'm like, seems like there's a lot of burden. Your shoulders always so heavy. You feel like you have to carry so many situations in life.
Yeah. If you're going on a hike, if you're going on a hike and you're wearing a backpack
Mm-hmm.
and it gets heavy, what do? You just stop and put it
But
down.
yeah,
Take a break,
take a break.
right? Take a little break from thinking and feeling. And then when you feel more energy, pick it back up and keep going. All right. That's basically that reset button. Okay. That is serenity. Peace leading to joy without complacency. Okay. Peace leading to joy without complacency. Any question? Anything else? Okay. Let's move on to today's topic. So we're studying the energy of wisdom. Okay, just like wisdom has a material expression, it has energy, has information. Last week, serenity is associated with level three. Okay, emptiness of being, state of inner emptiness. today we're going to tap into the
And
energy.
furthermore,
Oops, with that.
oh, I turn up.
Today,
Well, I moved the mouse. It came out from sleep mode, and the YouTube automatically played.
okay. So today, we're going to tap into the energy called magnanimity. Okay. Big word for big concept, magnanimity.
Yeah, you use magnanimity. Is that honoring gratitude?
No, no, it's not
No,
honor
that's not right.
gratitude. No, no, no.
Magnanimity
Yep.
is tolerance. That's it.
It's yeah. So we're gonna go over it today. Okay.
Yeah,
It is a an energy of wisdom that is derived from the state of awareness number two. Okay, state of awareness number two. The energy of wisdom number two. Okay, so let's take a quick look at magnanimity. Magnanimous. Magnanimous. Ever heard of the word magnanimous? Magnanimous. Let's use blue today. Let's use this blue today. In Latin, okay, when we study concept, I like to go um, to the root of the word.
yeah,
Okay, so in Latin, magnus, animus, magnus, animus, magnus animus, which stands for great spirit, great spirit. Hmm. Magnanimous or magnanimity is great spirit. Okay. Um, so different magnanimity, magnanimity. Okay. Great spirit. Another word, another synonym that I want to call to your attention is capaciousness. Okay, I'm just going to write it in smaller word, but it has to do with capaciousness. Big word today, huh?
yeah,
Capacious.
yeah, definitely.
Capacious. Okay, capacity to contain. Okay, capacity to contain. Right. When you think about great spirit, think about the capacity to contain, capaciousness. A lot of space, a lot of capacity. When we study the seven givings, important givings of life, seven gifts of life, this is the gift of spirit. Okay, remember eyes, face, mouth, heart, body, and spirit. The gift of your spirit, the gift of your space. Magnanimity is about being capacious, being big, being great, has a lot of room. Okay, the gift of your space, the gift of your greatness. Okay, it is the ability and it is the capacity to hold and behold. Okay, the capacity to hold and behold. To have a lot of space so you can hold, but you can also behold. Okay, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Okay, and it takes a person of great spirit to behold another person. So it is the capacity to hold and behold anyone and everyone. The capacity to hold and behold anyone and everyone. We'll talk more about the character of magnanimity when we talk about character. in our House of Holistic Wealth. But today, we're going to focus on the energy of magnanimity or the mentality of magnanimity. Okay, to the mentality of magnanimity. Okay, so I'm gonna write that word again. The mentality of magnanimity. To better understand magnanimity, let's explore some other virtues that are related to magnanimity, to this state of being big and great and ability to hold and behold other people. Okay, there's a state of capaciousness. We're going to start with some words like, let's do forgiveness. Red, red, red. Forgiveness. Okay. We're going to consider the virtue of mercy. Okay. Then we're going to consider the virtue of tolerance. So if you study this philosophy in the from the WIT organization, yeah,
Yeah.
the translation and the way it is taught is a little bit different than the way I teach it. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
But the advantage you get is you get a more expanded perspective. Okay. You get the West and the East. Okay. And you
Hmm.
can enjoy the fusion of the buffet. Okay. Forgiveness, mercy, and tolerance. So we're going to consider a person who embodies the virtue of forgiveness or a forgiving person. Okay, a forgiving person. Consider this cup. Okay, let's consider this cup that I'm holding to represent the fault that other people have committed against us. Okay, the fault of that other people has committed against us. Magnanimity has to do with our relationship with other people. So a person of forgiveness is a person that upon experience some fault that people had done, first, the person of forgiveness will take in the whole cup, okay, drink it. So this is poison. A forgiving person first drinking the entire cup of poison. Okay, we'll call that 10 points worth of fault. They're taking all 10 points worth of fault, taken to the body, into the being. Okay. And after a time, that severity seemed to automatically kind of reduce down to maybe 6 or 7 point. Okay, drink 10 point worth of fault. After a while, it go down to about 6 or 7 point. And then at some point, the forgiving person decided to let it go. It's not worth holding on to that fault anymore. And so they choose to let it go. Because in fact, they feel so much pain that letting it go actually feels better. Okay, letting it go feels better. Okay. A person who is not forgiving is the opposite. Okay, a person who's not forgiving, when they receive a cup 10 point worth of fault, they will magnify it, multiply it. Okay, make a big deal out of it. Okay, it's like a multiplied by 10 times. Okay, somebody does something, and instead of being forgiving, they make a big deal out of it. They victimize themselves, right? They take revenge. But a forgiving person, okay, that's a virtue, okay, it's a good thing. to be forgiving. The forgiving person first it initially take in all 10 point worth of fault, and over time, the severity seems to get reduced to 6 or 7 point, and then the person decided to let it go. But if the perpetrator commit the same fault again, then the forgiving person would take all 10 point again. Okay? They will get hurt again, and then they will have to forgive again. Okay, that is why in the Bible, um, it is forgiving is a wonderful virtue. Okay, a long time ago, in the Jewish society, in the Jewish society, when a person commit a fault against somebody, that other person would take revenge on them, and they would multiply, they would magnify the fault. They would do something, and then you would get back at them 10 times worth. Okay, that's not forgiving. And so in the Christian, in the Jewish tradition, Moses, who is a prophet of God, wrote down a law: one eye for one eye, one tooth for one tooth.
Yeah.
Okay, so an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth is actually to protect society from overcompensating for the fault. Okay, if somebody does something to you, you get to take revenge, but only in equivalent to the fault that was committed. One eye, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. So, and it's fair. Okay, it's fair. And as humanity evolve, our awareness expand, and we start to understand the power and the virtue of a forgiving society. The Jewish people came up with a law that say, you know what? You should forgive people 7 times, not just one time. Okay, so a forgiving person first takes in all the fault, they forgive it, and it goes away. And then another person repeat it, they have to take in all 10 fault again, and then they have to repeat it. And at some point, you can ask, okay, how much of this can I put up with? And the Jewish society say, you should be able to forgive a person up to 7 times. Okay, not bad. Okay, 7 times. Imagine somebody commit a fault for you and against you, and you forgive them again and again 7 times. Okay, but that for a person of forgiveness, that means they have taken in the poison 10 times. I mean 7 times.
7 times, yeah.
Imagine the damage. Okay, every time somebody does something, you take in 10 point worth of fault, and a little while later, time will reduce down to 6 or 7. But if every time you take in, you're damaging yourself. And then Jesus Christ came along. Okay, Jesus Christ came along, and some of the people who followed him challenged him and asked him to see if he is a person who obeyed the law of Jewish. Okay, and they say, is it true that you have to forgive another person 7 times? Jesus goes, Father, he said, no, 7 times is not enough. You have to forgive them 7 times, 70 times. So now we're talking 490 times of forgiveness. Wonderful, wonderful, very holy way of being, right? To be very forgiving. But even so, to forgive somebody 490 times, that means you have taken in the poison 490 times. Imagine the damage. Imagine the damage. Okay. So, so we're gonna get to the part of magnanimity, and we're gonna get to a point where how you can interact with another human being, and irregardless of what they do to you, you don't take in the poison. Because forgiveness is a wonderful virtue, but each time somebody commit a fault, you drink the poison. And oftentimes we mistakenly drink the poison and we expect the other person to die. That's called anger, right? Somebody does something to us and we feel angry and we hold on to that anger over time, okay? And somehow we mistakenly think that by holding on to our anger, by being resentful, by taking vengeance, we would somehow make it okay. In fact, when we hold on to anger, we there is a what do you call it? There's a benefit. Okay, there's a benefit. Human being, there's a reason why we we get angry. Okay, we actually there is a benefit to getting angry. It satisfied our sense of our desire and imagination for identity. Our ego wants to protect itself. So it feels good. It actually feels good to be angry against other people who have committed some fault against us. It is that twisted sense of fulfillment. So if we understand that, right? We understand that we say, oh yeah, that's why people get angry, you know? Why would you hold on to a poison? Why would you take the poison and maintain it? Oh, that is because there is some benefit. But okay, it is the ego trying to protect itself, right? The ego trying to protect itself. But it has been scientifically proven, spiritually and emotionally and psychologically, that if you hold on to anger, you damage your own body. Okay. Usually people will get like stomach ulcer or something like that. Okay. Usually stomach ulcer, stomach issues, um, your internal organ will actually get damaged when you focus and maintain the energy, the feeling of anger. And so a smart, a wise person would forgive. Okay. Let me tell you a story about a woman who has a mysterious illness. Okay, this is a Zen lesson. A woman has a mysterious illness where every day she was getting weaker and weaker. And she would go to doctors, and doctor would not be able to diagnose. All of her tests, lab result, blood test comes out okay, but every day she's getting weaker and weaker. And finally, one day, her friend suggested she goes visit a Zen master, okay, take a spiritual approach. And so this young woman go to the Zen master and tell him that she has this weird illness where every day she's getting weaker and weaker. And the doctor could not find out why. And then after listening to her, the Zen master say, "You're right, it is pretty serious, okay? You don't have much time left." The Zen master proceeded to give this woman a key, okay, a key. Oh, sorry, I forgot that. Woman said that she also has a dream. Okay, every night she has a dream where she would walk in the forest and she would come to a dilapidated house. Okay, a dilapidated house. And as she approached the house, she would hear noises of people inside. Okay, there would be noises of people crying, and so she would wake up, and her health would get worse and worse. And so the Zen master said, "Well, the key to your recovery is this key." Okay, he gives her the key. He said, "The next time you go into you will have a dream. Use the key to open the door." Okay, and so the woman takes the key and she goes. And that night, when she goes to sleep, she dreams and she walks in the forest. And as she approached the house, she remembered that the Zen master gave her the key. And she approached the door and she was about to turn the key. When then she started to hear the noises. Okay, and so she proceeded to look through the keyhole and the cracks, and she started to recognize there are people inside that house. Turns out these are the people who have hurt her. It is her mother-in-law who was really strict and demeaning. It was a kid who bullied her in the playground at school. Even a three-legged dog who used to bite her on her way back from school. And so she would do the key and she said, you know what, these people, they deserve to suffer in their house. They can cry and scream whatever they want. So she removed the key, she turns away, walked away, even with a smile in her face, thinking that these people deserve to suffer in the house. And as and then she would wake up, but her health would not improve. Her health continued to decline, and then doctor could not fix it. And then eventually she went back to the Zen master and she told that, um, I've been here having this dream. You gave me the key, but I don't want to, open the door because these are the people who have hurt me. I don't want them to hurt me again. And her health continued to decline. And the Zen master said, you really don't have much of a choice left. You don't have a lot of time left. Your health's gonna get to the point where when you run out of merit, it's gonna, you're gonna die. So you have to go back and you have to open that door. And so the woman goes back, and in her dream, she approached the house again, and this time she takes the key and she turned the key and opened the door, and all the people who ever hurt her, okay, the mother-in-law who was very demeaning, the kid who bullied her in the playground, even the three-legged dog who used to bite her. And everybody runs out. Okay. And in the middle, as everybody left the house, she started to feel better. But in the middle of the house, there is still one person that kind of refused to go. And as she approached the person, she realized that it is a young woman. It looks just like her, and it is her. This is a woman who had been maintaining her anger and frustration and resentment toward herself. And so she said, you need to get out of this house. Okay, I'm going to help you walk out of this house and we're going to be better together. We're going to be free together. Okay, and so that's a story. That's the moral of the story. And as a woman free all the people as well as herself, her health get better. So that speaks to the virtue of forgiveness. So we can ask ourselves, okay, do we all have a house in the wood that we have been locking up people who have hurt us? Do we all have some parent who have been very harsh on us, that we have been maintaining that anger and frustration, who knows, for many, many years? Have we blamed ourselves being that person in the middle of the house? Have we been imprisoning ourselves, not letting ourselves be free and express ourselves fully? And so we've been holding on to that negative energy for a long time, and it starts to take a toll on our mind, our emotion, and our body. And so a person of forgiveness is a person who is willing to let go of pain of past wrongdoing for no other reason than to save ourselves. To forgive is to save ourselves. Okay? To forgive is to save ourselves, even if it means we have to save ourselves 70 times, 7 times. It is better to forgive ourselves. It is better to let go 490 times than to not do it at all and continue to take the poison. Okay? Because the longer we keep those people and we keep ourselves imprisoned in that house, our health is going to decline until we can't hold it anymore. Okay? The virtue of forgiveness. Okay? Thank you, Nguyen, for joining us. Okay. As we begin this topic on magnanimity, just a really quick review for Nguyen so that we can catch up. We're talking about the energy of wisdom. Okay. Last week we talked about the state of awareness level 3, wisdom level 3. Level 3 give rise to the mentality, the energy of serenity, which is inner peace leading to joy. Today, we're going to talk about an inner state of awareness that leads to the energy of magnanimity. Okay, magnanimity, magnus, animus, meaning great spirit. Magnus animus, great spirit. It is the spirit of capaciousness, being big, the capacity to hold and behold. And so we begin with the idea of forgiveness. Okay, a person of forgiving Forgiveness is a person who, upon experiencing some fault committed by other people, will take 10 point worth of fault and take it into the person, the being. Over time, that 10 point worth of fault automatically get reduced to about 6 or 7, and then they choose to let it go. Okay, but if a other person commit the same fault again, they will take in all 10 point worth of fault again, wait for time, and then they have to let it go again. Okay. Okay, so that is a person of forgiveness. That is a wonderful virtue that many religions and moral philosophy will try to teach. But we also get the fact that, if we hold on to resentment, we hurt ourselves. So we really have no choice other than to forgive if we want to save ourselves. All right. So good idea to forgive. Let's talk about mercy. A person of mercy or a merciful person, okay? A person of mercy or merciful person is really interesting. Upon experience some wrongdoing by other people, upon receiving some wrongdoing by other people, some fault by other people, instead of perceiving that as 10 point worth of fault, a merciful person only perceive it to be about 6 or 7 point. Okay, so the severity of it is already much more reduced. Okay, they only perceive it to be 6 or 7 point. Okay, and so they take in less of the fault. Okay, instead of taking 10 point worth of fault, they only take in about 6 or 7 point worth of fault, and then over time, the severity quickly gets reduced to maybe 4 or 5. And then a merciful person find it much more easy to let it go. Okay, much more easy to let go of offenses and wrongdoing by other people. Because by way of their awareness and perception, when another person commits some fault, they perceive it to be only about 6 or 7 point, because they take it in to themselves only 6 or 7 point. Over time, it gets reduced to about 4 or 5, and they find it much more easy to let go of the fault. Okay. Somehow it is a filter, okay, in their awareness and perception. Okay. They only perceive it to be 6 or 7. Time helps it down to 4 or 5, and it is easier to let go. Now, upon deeper examination of mercy, we discover that a merciful person has consideration for the other person. Okay. Usually forgiveness is about ourselves. It hurts so much, and then we don't want to get hurt anymore. We let it go. And so we free ourselves. That's great. Okay. We should be forgiving. But a merciful person has a special quality to them, a special quality to them. They are considering the need of the other person. They are actually considering the the pain of the perpetrator. Okay, part of a merciful person feel them feel hurt by the fault committed by the other person. But there's another part of them also realize it, that by holding on the grudge, by holding on the anger toward that other person, they are also hurting the other person. Yes, I'm hurt by the fault, but by holding on to this hurt, I am hurting that other person too. Right? Because holding on the hurt is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die, or being angry. Okay, like a parent, imagine your child commits some fault, and you initially get angry, and then you may react with a burst of anger, but immediately you realize that that anger hurts the child. There is an awareness and perception that include the other person in the picture and not just ourselves. So a merciful person, instead of taking in all 10 point of word, only take in about 6 or 7, because that other part, that 2 or 3 part, they realize that, it is hurting the other person. And so they find it more easy to let go of the fault because they partly want to save the other person from the pain of that anger, that resentment, and the punishment. We see the same thing in the court, right? In the law system, in the legal system. A person committed a crime, the judge, the jury will administer a sentence. But sometimes the sentencing will be too severe that the person cannot recover from. Okay. And so the person can ask for, or the judge can ask for, they can be merciful, and they reduce the sentencing in order to save the perpetrator from the pain of the punishment itself. So holding on to anger and resentment another person would be too damaging to the other person, that we are willing to be merciful. We are willing to let go of the fault, on the one hand to save ourselves, and the other hand to save the other person. That is a special quality of a merciful person, because another person is in the picture, okay, to protect ourselves and to protect the other person, which is a wonderful quality to have, as especially when you're in a relationship, in a marriage relationship. Okay, for example, maybe your spouse did something, say something, and we are angry. But if we hold on to that anger, not only we hurt ourselves, but we're hurting the other person, and we're hurting the relationship. Okay, example with our children. Okay, if our children do something and we punish them that is in equal value to the fault, then that may be too damaging. Okay, and that person may not recover, and our relationship with that other person may not recover, and so we get to be merciful. So there is a hidden quality inside mercy, and that is a quality of love and compassion. Okay, a merciful person is by nature compassionate. Okay, they think about the other people. Okay, it is the positive desire for the well-being of another person. It is an altruistic way of being. A merciful person has compassion. Okay, and the word passion means to suffer. Common, as in community, it's community, shared or together. Compassion meaning to suffer together. So a merciful person has some compassion, some empathy. They feel the pain of the person, and they don't want that person, especially, if you're loving, those are the people you love, your family member. So it is a good idea to be merciful and just let go of the fault. Save yourself and save the other person. Okay? Pretty cool, huh? To be merciful. Very good, very useful in your relationship. So you can think about, any of us here ever, bear any grudge against a family member. You stop and you realize, I actually love that person, maybe our parent. Okay, maybe they have been harsh on us, and you realize that, okay, on the one hand, I need to forgive them so that I can free myself. But then on the other hand, I also love them. And by holding on to that grudge, I'm hurting them, and I'm hurting that relationship. So I get to be merciful. I get to let go. And now I free both myself and the other person. It is a very freeing way of being. Okay. It is a state of magnanimity, of being great. You have to be a great spirit in order to be merciful. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about tolerance. Okay. Tolerance. A person of tolerance. Okay. By way of their awareness and perception. Okay. By way of their awareness and perception, when somebody commit a fault, instead of perceiving it as 10 or 7 or even 5, a tolerant person perceives the fault as only worth maybe 2 or 3. Whatever the other person does, they don't sense that it to be very, very severe. They take only 2 or 3 into themselves. Okay. And so the poison is not too bad. And over time, the severity itself can, decrease to maybe one or two or even nothing. The quality of a tolerant person is by way of their awareness and perception, they perceive the fault to be not so much, 2 or 3 point worth. Yes, they initially take it in and feel a little bit of pain or discomfort, just a little bit of discomfort, a little bit of frustration. Okay. And then over time, and then very quickly, in fact, okay, not a long time, very quickly, maybe a few minutes, few seconds, they it feels nothing, so they can let it go. No big deal. Okay, a person of tolerance has the ability to perceive another person's fault to be very minimal, and because doesn't really hurt them, they can find it very easy to let it go. And they never have to really forgive because it doesn't really hurt them. They don't really have to be merciful because it doesn't really hurt them. Okay, and so they can tolerate many, many things. They can be very tolerant. Okay, not that they're not necessarily merciful or loving. They just have the awareness and perception that other people's fault isn't really worth worrying about, worth getting hurt, worth getting offended. Okay, so they don't easily get hurt. Okay, so what is so special about tolerance or a tolerant person? Okay, so we're going to take a quick look at the material expression of magnanimity. So today we're going to focus on the material expression of magnanimity. Once again, we will work on, once again, we are using the triangle of reality. Okay, any aspect of reality we want to experience or want to transmit to another person, we apply the triangle of reality to it. So once again, we're going to write the word magnanimity. Okay. Triangle of reality, there is the information, the energy, and the material expression. Okay, we just to keep it consistent, we put the material expression on the bottom right, the energy on the top, and the information corner, the source concept is on the bottom left. We're going to work on the material expression of magnanimity. Okay, a person who has the spirit of magnanimity will express themselves as a person who is very tolerant. So tolerance is the material expression of magnanimity. They can put up with many things and not feel hurt by it. Okay, tolerance is the material expression of the uh, state of magnanimity. So to define tolerance, there are several components. I'm going to read you the official definition. Tolerance is understanding, respecting and understanding the differences that others may have from us. Okay. Tolerance is respecting and understanding the differences that others may have from us. Tolerance is respecting and understanding the differences that others may have from us in their customs, traditions, way of life, belief and faith, race, and ways of acting. Okay, in their customs and tradition, ways of life, belief and faith, race, and ways of acting. Customs and tradition, ways of life, belief and faith, race, and ways of acting. So once again, tolerance is respecting and understanding the differences that others may have from us in their customs and tradition, ways of life, belief and faith, race, and ways of acting. Okay. Continuing, tolerance is accepting others. Tolerance is accepting others. Acceptance. Okay. Tolerance is accepting others, allowing them to do things that we may not personally approve of. Hmm. Allowing them to do things that we may not personally approve of. Allowing them to do things that we may not personally approve of within certain limit. Okay, there's a tolerance within certain limit. Within certain limit. In order to orient them, in order to orient them, in order to orient them toward voluntary pursuit of the good. Okay, little voluntary pursuit of the good. In order to orient them toward voluntary pursuit of the good. Okay, so tolerance is accepting others, okay, allowing them to do things that we may not personally approve of within certain limit in order to orient them, to guide them, okay, in order to orient them toward voluntary pursuit of the good. Okay, so there's a lot of component to this definition, this material expression of magnanimity, starting with respecting. Okay, we talked about respecting. Just going to write the word respect. Okay, tolerance is respecting the differences that others may have from us in the customs and tradition, ways of life, belief and faith, race, ways of acting. Okay, because it is the material expression, okay, the material component of the reality triangle, there is a limit, right? Tolerance is itself a limit. Anything that is matter, okay, matter in this universe, anything that is matter or material has a physical limit, right? You can measure, okay? It can be formed and it can be broken, okay? Okay. So in the material sense, there's a limit to tolerance. So the word tolerance itself, by itself, has built into it a limit. Okay, it is not unlimited. So we can uh, we can talk about respect, and let's see. So within certain limit. Yeah. Okay. So tolerant, the limit. Let's talk about the limit first. Okay. For example, when my wife and I first got married, sometimes we get into disagreement. Okay. We got into disagreement and there was some words exchange and some feelings. Okay. And my wife would bring up our marriage in the argument. Okay. Think like if I had, if I had something about, this marriage. Okay. And so I said, you know what, honey, we can disagree and we can even argue and I can tolerate any disagreement, any argument, but as long as we never bring up the marriage, that is a limit. As long as we don't bring up the marriage and question the validity of the marriage, as long as we don't bring the marriage into question, then I can argue, I can tolerate any disagreement, I can tolerate any differences. And that's what it means to respect the differences that others may have from us in their custom and tradition, ways of life, ways of thinking, their beliefs and faith. Okay, allowing others to do things that we may not personally approve of within certain limit. For example, our children. Okay, we can tolerate them to do many things, but we define a certain limit. You can do whatever you want. You can even make mistake, and we can negotiate your desire. We can negotiate your goals and whatever you want in life, but there's a certain limit. There's something that you cannot do. Don't do drug, for example. Okay, that's the limit. I don't care what you do as long as you don't do drug. You can pursue any job or career or business you want as long as it is within legal limit. You don't do anything illegal. Those are limit. So tolerance has limits. Okay. In the United States, every citizen is given the right to free speech. You can say anything you want. Okay. We have the freedom of speech, but there's a limit as long as the speech does not slander or harm another person's, in some way. They can sue you. The court can protect the person who is harmed by free speech. We are given, the government give us the freedom to assemble, to group together, even to protest the government. Okay, we have the right to protest the government, but within limit. Don't get violent. Okay. So limit and tolerance, that what it is. As long as you define the limit clearly, then I can tolerate anything within that limit. Okay, that's the idea of tolerance with limit. Let's talk about the keys to tolerance. One of them being respect. So within that definite limit, we can tolerate anything. Okay, we don't need mercy. We don't need forgiveness. Okay, a tolerant person don't need mercy or forgiveness, but they have a certain limit that within that limit, they allow the other person to behave, to act, to think, to be in any way that they want, as long as it is within that limit of tolerance. Okay, certain action we may not approve of, but we're not hurt by it because it is within limit. Okay, so imagine a child who is living in an environment of tolerance. Okay, when they know their boundary, but they are able to freely express themselves within that boundary. Isn't that pretty freeing? Isn't that empowering? As opposed to a parent who is always, this is right, wrong, this is, always judging and micromanaging a child. A parent who can set clear boundary and allowing the child to be free to develop themselves, to mature, to grow in their own way within that certain boundary, it can be very freeing, at the same time, very disciplined. Okay, so think about that. Okay, tolerance is setting limit and allowing the person to be totally free within that limit. Okay, a person can have the freedom to grow and develop in their own special way. Okay, so respect. Okay, when it comes to respect, to tolerate another person is to respect their differences. So let's consider respect. Consider a person, let's do a scenario. Two people, okay, walk into a store and they're dressed in just very common clothing, okay, very common clothing, and they walk into a expensive clothing store, okay. One person is a really rich person. They dress in very common clothing, but they actually have a lot of money in the bank. Okay, they have a lot of money that they know that they can afford the clothing in the store. And then another person also dressed in common clothing, but they don't actually have a lot of money. And both person goes into the store, and because this is a high-end store, okay, high expensive clothing, the clerk, let's say the clerk or the customer service is used to treating people who dress fancy, and then they see this two person who look like commoner, and so they kind of disrespect them a little bit. Okay, they say things, they don't treat them with the same high-end service that one would expect. So the between those two person, the person who know they have a lot of money and the person who has very little money, both dressed in simple clothing, whom do you think would feel more disrespected? Whom do you think would feel a need to be respected? A person who has a lot of money and they know they can afford it, and upon encountering thing a little bit of poor service, they might not really care. Okay, if you cannot serve me, okay, no problem. I'll just go next door and I'll just buy something. That is a person who has a sense of fulfillment within themselves. On the other hand, a person who walks into the store and expect to be respected, is it that person trying to compensate something that is missing? If he's being disrespected, they might get angry. They might, even if they have a lot of money, they might say, you know what, you don't serve me, I'm gonna buy your whole store out and then fire you. Have you seen that happen in movies or even in conversation with friends? So respect comes from what? Okay. Respect, where does it come from? A person who has a sense of fulfillment or a person who has the need to be respected. If a person has a sense of fulfillment and they have self-respect, they don't really need other people to respect them. And if the other person does something that is slightly disrespectful, they don't really care because they have enough self-respect for themselves. They can tolerate other people. Do you get that? On the other hand, if a person does not have enough self-respect, does not have enough sense of fulfillment, they are lacking, they're wanting, they're seeking outside, uh, you know, praises or something like that. And so when other people do things that does not align with what they want, they easily get hurt. They take in the poison, and so they're not tolerant, right? The essence of a tolerant person is a person who has a lot of self-respect. And because they have a lot of self-respect, it is simple for them to respect other people, respect their differences. And if the other person behave in ways that does not that they may not personally approve of, they have enough self-respect to respect the other person. They do not demand respect. And if the other person does something that is a little bit disrespectful, they are not hurt by it. They have no need to forgive. They have no need to be merciful. Does that make sense? Right? To be tolerant is to be respectful of other person, but in order to be respectful of the other person, you have to have enough energy of self-respect so that you don't get hurt by the disrespect. Because if you easily get hurt by disrespect, then you're not tolerant. You're living in a state of lack. You're living in a state of wanting, of incomplete. So it takes a sense of fulfillment that I am good enough. Okay. That I respect myself, doesn't matter what other people say. That I am rich, right? If you know that you're rich and you have money and you can buy anything, it doesn't matter what, other people say or do. Doesn't matter. You can tolerate other people because you have plenty of respect for yourself. You are fulfilled. You are complete. Okay? So when a person feels disrespected, when a person feels hurt by the fault of another person who is doing something that they consider disrespectful, there is the seed within us that is attached to respect. We are attached to the concept of respect, that we have to receive respect. Okay? So if we can let go, okay, once again, we're applying some of the concept that we've learned. If we learn to let go of the attachment to respect, then we don't need to demand any respect. So the lesson on serenity and letting go is very applicable to the lesson on magnanimity and tolerance as well. It is a person who has an attachment to respect that demands respect. But if you're not attached, at the moment somebody say something, an external message comes in, somebody say something that you might consider disrespectful, and immediately, boom, you let it go. You drop, you stop, you cease, you release your imagination and your desire for respect. You let it go, and immediately you go to a state of balance. You are a tolerant person. By knowing to let go or detach from the need for respect. That is respect that we receive for other people. But what about respect for other people? Okay, a wise person knows how to switch. Okay, switch, 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 switch. Rotate, cyclic rotation. Just because we release the need for the respect doesn't mean that we disrespect to other people. Okay, that has to do with the virtue of respect. That is the virtue of propriety. Okay, we'll talk about integrity and virtue in the subsequent session. We respect for other people because it is the right thing to do, not because we have a need to respect. In order to function in society, we have certain propriety to be proper for society to function, for relationship to work. So we respect because of we understand that we recognize that there's a virtue of propriety. There's certain things that we have to do. Say please, say thank you, open the door for people, pull the chair out for your lady. Okay, respecting the law. Okay, respecting the law helps society function in order instead of chaos. Respecting certain tradition and custom of other people. At the same time, detach from the need for respect. So a tolerant person can still be very respectful without demanding respect in return. That's the beauty and power of being detached from the mind and the emotion. Okay. The the person who give respect is the kind of person who has, as I mentioned before, a sense of abundance and fulfillment. You have to have a sense of abundance and fulfillment in order to give respect. But a person who is demanding respect, that person is coming from a space of lacking, of wanting, of not having enough. They want to take. Okay? So tolerance is about giving respect while not being attached to the need to receive respect. So you can respect other people's tradition and custom. And if they don't respect yours, that's fine too. Okay. And that's fine too. We're not hurt by it. Okay. Um, Respect, once again, when a person interact with another person, and if they ever feel like they have been demeaned or ever felt like somebody put you down, Ever been in a situation where you feel like you have been put down or, stepped upon? Okay, consider this perspective. If you ever feel that somebody stepped on you or trying to pull you down, that is because you are too high up. If somebody is trying to pull you down or stepping on you, that means we are too high up.
Okay, can you take it for something?
Yeah, let me mute that. We are too high up. We are too high and mighty. If we're not high and mighty, then people can't really step on us. Or if they step on us, then that's fine. The sea, the ocean, is big because it is lower than all the rivers. The ocean is big because it is lower than all the rivers. And it's okay for the ocean to be lower than everybody else. In the Bible, Jesus expresses materially his magnanimity and tolerance and respect by bending down and washing the feet of his disciples. In the Jewish tradition, it is the job of the slave and the servant to wash the feet of the guest. But during supper, Jesus, the leader of the movement, bent down and washed the feet of his disciple. Because the sea is lower than all the rivers. That is servant leadership. In the Vietnamese and the Chinese tradition, a king refers to himself as the lowest step. There's a word that when the king talked to his subject and he referred to himself as the lowest step. Because he is the lowest step, he can push anybody up. He can uplift anybody. He can lift a person to a position of a minister. He can lift a person up to a position of a general. Get it? The king is the lowest step, so he can lift anybody up to any position. Servant leadership, respect. But if a person demands respect, that means we are too high up. Our ego is too big. Our high and mighty is so, our ego is so inflated that we're easily hurt. Our ego is easily hurt because we're too high and mighty. We're too high, and so yeah, people are gonna want to step on us. But if we're low at the bottom, nobody can hurt us. They can step on us, but that's fine. That's where we're supposed to be anyway, because the sea is lower than all the rivers. If we are authentic and lowest, then we can uplift everybody. Okay, we authentically allow ourselves to be humble, then we can respect everybody, right? If we're humble, then we respect anybody. And ironically, paradoxically, the person who's the humblest in the room usually get the most respect. Is that funny? Is that weird? Human being, we actually have a lot of respect for humble people. We have a lot of respect for servant leaders. And so, the Bible, I love to quote the Bible because it's so much truth about it. Okay, the Bible say those who come first will be last, and those who come last will be first. Those who put themselves up will be pulled down, and those who lower themselves will be uplifted. And so essentially, if we really, really want to receive respect from other people, then lower ourselves and respect everybody. Then we'll get all the respect that we need and deserve. And we do deserve respect, don't we? We deserve it. And we deserve it by respecting other people. And that is the material expression of tolerance. Okay? Material expression of magnanimity, a state of greatness. right? Do you think Jesus Christ? Do you think of Mahatma Gandhi? Do you think of Teresa, my favorite heroes, Martin Luther King? All these servant leaders, we think of them as great people, great spirit. They are servant leaders. They're very tolerant. They're very respectful, and we respect them. Okay. Next key in tolerance is understanding. Okay. Magnanimity or tolerance is understanding the differences that others may have from us in their customs and tradition, ways of life, belief and faith, race and ways of acting. Okay. Understanding. Understanding others. Understanding others. What does it mean to understand somebody? Let's do a little bit of interaction. What does it mean to understand another person?
Well, I guess
What do you think, Sen or Nguyen? What does it mean to understand another person?
I guess just from the definition itself, it's like to understand another person is to know that they're different.
Okay. Yeah, to know the difference. Okay. But here's the thing. When we understand, let's take a look at it from an inner state, a way of being, okay, perspective. When we understand a person, is our inner state, okay, our state of being, is our state negative, positive, or balanced when we understand somebody?
It's balance. There's no positive and no negative.
Yeah, it's balanced. Okay, it's balanced. And a balanced state is a very high vibrational frequency. Okay, it'll attract a lot of good things in terms of the vibrational frequency. When it comes to understanding another person, society have a not so beneficial source concept of understanding. We think of we are quick to consider the other person's circumstances, right? Oh yeah, I understand your circumstances. I understand where you're coming from. It is their circumstances that affect their choices. Okay, so we are quick to consider the person's circumstances, the external reality. But that's not very understanding. Because if the circumstance change, then you won't be understanding anymore. Right? Oh yeah, I understand your circumstances. You were in that situation, and so yeah, you behave that way. So I understand it. But if the situation were different, then my expectation is different. So you're not actually very understanding. You're very limited. So don't be quick to understand or consider another person's external circumstances when it comes to understanding a person. Okay, so I'll repeat that. Don't be quick to consider the other person's external circumstances when you're trying to understand another person. Instead, instead, consider the root cause of their action. Consider their total causal outcome. Total causal outcome. Total causal destiny. Root cause of their life and experience. The totality of their whole being, not just the specific circumstance. Okay, our philosophy is about root cause, about total causality. Consider a person's total causal outcome. Okay, everything that they are, everything that they be, what is a person's total causal outcome come from? Is it not all of their mental images? Is it not all of their source concepts? Is it not all of their state of being, which is their merit and blessing? If you consider a human being total causal outcome, or you can say total causal destiny, where they are today is the consequence or the outcome of all the mental images they have been acquiring and accumulating in this lifetime or past lifetime, all the mental images, all the source concept, everything that they know, everything they believe, everything that they understand, all the source concept, and all of the state of being, all the inner state, which derive from the blessings and merit that they have accumulated. If you consider all of their total causality, then the person, is not to be blamed. It's the total causality that has brought them to the reality of the life that they have today. The action is rooted in their mindset. Their behavior is rooted into their way of thinking. But their way of thinking is rooted in their awareness and perception. And the awareness and perception is nothing more than the images, the source concept, the inner state. Irregardless of the circumstances that they're experiencing, a person's action is the outcome, the fruit of their total causal cognition, everything that they know. Total causal cognition, everything that they know, that they have accumulated and acquired in this lifetime and multiple past lifetimes. So if they don't know any better, then you can't blame them for not knowing any better. If they don't have a beneficial source concept, then you can't blame a person for not having beneficial source concept. A person's total action and behavior today is the outcome, the fruit of their affinity, the connection that they have with other people, which they have accumulated and acquired throughout this lifetime and many past lifetimes. So a person's total outcome is a consequence of their total causal cognition, the affinity, the mental images, the source concept, the inner state. And so you can't really blame them for the action. They don't know any better. Okay? Had they known better, they would have acted differently. And so that's why I in the Bible, before Jesus died, he asked, God to forgive humanity. Please forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know any better. The total causal cognition, they just don't know any better. And so we can really blame them. That is what it means to be understanding. Okay, that is to be understanding. And then we take a look at ourselves. Okay, we take a look at our own total causal or our own total causality of our own experience. Our experience today, at this moment, with that person, is it not the consequence of our own vibrational energy frequency? We are vibrating in that specific frequency, and therefore we are experiencing that particular experience with that person. So the root cause of life begins with me. I can't blame another person. So I can be understanding. If I vibrate at a better frequency, higher frequency, then I'm going to experience a better experience with that person. So it's not their fault. So I can understand them. From a causality perspective, I can understand anybody and even myself. And the root cause of life begins with me, but it's not my fault either, right? Because had I known better, I would have made better choices. I would have better outcome. So we can understand other person, we can understand ourselves, we can be tolerant. And we get that because at this moment in time, because I'm vibrating at that specific frequency, I'm experiencing that outcome. That means that irregardless of who that person is, I would still have experienced that outcome. Let's say somebody call us crazy. Okay, that is a vibrational frequency. We are a vibrational match for somebody calling us crazy. We also understand that at this moment in time, we have to experience somebody calling us crazy. And it doesn't matter who that person is. It could be our spouse. It could be our parent. It could be a stranger on the street. And so we are not attached to the identity of the person who is committing the fault. Get it? Remember we talked about attachment to identity? Anybody could say this to me, but not you. You're my wife. You're my husband. You're my mother. You can't do this to me. That is attachment to identity. But if we understand that from a vibrational frequency, we have to experience that experience at this moment in time because we are vibrational match for that. And it doesn't matter who brought it to us, we're going to experience it. And so we can detach from the identity of the perpetrator. And it's easier to let it go. It is easier to tolerate. Even if it is somebody close to us doing something that we consider to be disrespectful, we are unattached from the identity of the person perpetrating it, allowing us to be tolerant. You get that? Yeah. Okay. Um, so yeah, to understanding other people, don't rely on empathy and compassion. Okay, empathy and compassion, putting ourselves in their place is the ego talking. Okay. Um, we mistakenly say, oftentimes, we do this oftentimes, sometimes we will resonate with another person, um, anger because we have been in that situation ourselves. But that's just co-suffering with other person. We don't actually want to co-suffer with them. We want to truly understand them from a causality perspective. And then once we understand that, everybody's behaving the way they do because of the total causal outcome, total causal cognition, the images, the source concept, the affinity, the state of being, the merits and the blessing that they have accumulated over countless lifetime. They are who they are because that's the way it is, and we don't need to blame them for it. And we recognize that the root cause of life begin with me. I'm experiencing that because it's me. I'm vibrating. So that's why magnanimity is related to the root cause formula, related to the energy, the wisdom level 2. Root cause of life begin with me. And whatever I see, my seeing of another person, remember, my seeing of another person is for me. I see that. The essence of all things, including other people, is empty. I see it because the image comes from me. I see the other person doing something, disrespecting or offending because I am seeing that. That person don't see that. Another person might not see that, but I see that disrespectful because I am doing the seeing. The image from me, not from the person. The essence of all things, including other people, is empty. What it is comes from me. It is my seeing. And when I get that, when I see that, and it is more simple to understand the other person, I can let it go of the fault, I can be tolerant. So understanding the root cause of life formula also help us understanding other people. Okay? Understanding causality can help us apply to all situations and circumstances. And having the three standard reference that we have studied allow us to detach the action from the person, detach from the identity of the person, make it easier to be tolerant, make it easier to be magnanimous. Okay. So next part of tolerance is accepting. accept. 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 Tolerance is accepting others, allowing them to do things that we may not personally approve of within certain limit in order to orient them toward voluntary pursuit of the good. Okay, so why does acceptance lead to tolerance and magnanimity? So once again, what kind of state is a state of acceptance? Is it negative, positive, or balanced?
Accepting, I think that would be a positive state.
Okay, yeah, positive. Okay, kind of positive. If we recall the human nature, let's dig up the line of human nature. There we go. Human nature. What is a positive and negative one? There we go. Wonderful to study human nature because we can explain everything, explain all of life's um, experiences. There is the nature of view. Okay, nature of view. So human nature, we have all of these natures. We have desire, temperament, discernment, pride, belief, ethos, and view. All of these human nature oscillate between positive and negative. Okay, positive and negative that brings suffering. In here, the true self is balance, peace. But the nature of view can go positive, which is open-mindedness, and negative, which is obstinacy. Open-mindedness allow us to accept other people's differences. Okay, so acceptance is tied to open-mindedness, to being able to open to new views, to opinion, to other people. So it is a positive dimension of the human nature of view. Okay, so a person of tolerance is a person who can accept other people because we feel that it does not hurt us. Once again, we are not attached to our own view. Because we're not attached to our own view, other people's view is fine. Okay, we are not hurt by differences of opinion because we are detached from our own view. It is not about right or wrong. Okay, but it is about, we don't feel that it hurt us. It could be right, it could be wrong. Other people's view could be right or wrong, but it doesn't hurt us. Or if it does, then we feel the offense is very small. Okay, 2 or 3 instead of 10. And so we can take it and then we quickly let it go. Accepting is about understanding the risk. Okay, how do you accept? We accept another person. In fact, when in the business, do we start out on a business venture and we sort of calculate all the risk and we say, I accept the risk. Okay, there's a certain percentage that it may fail, losses, but I accept it. That is openness, right? Magnanimity is about being open and capacious, having the capacity to be open to possibility, even if it's negative possibility. Okay. And how this is a wonderful uh, topic to be talking about. How does one come to be an accepting person? What is the key to being accepting, to be open-minded? Okay. It has to do with being able to fixate and remember our desire and our imagination. To be able to fixate and remember our desire and our imagination. Okay. Now, what does that mean? When let's consider, let's say, our children. Okay, when our babies first born, our desire and imagination is for the baby just to be healthy. That's it. Just to survive the birth and be healthy for the next, 6 months to a year. Our desire and our imagination for the child is just to be healthy and surviving. We're perfectly happy if the child is eating and pooping and healthy. And so we are very accepting of the baby. But as the child grows, we are no longer fixed. Our desire and imagination is no longer fixated. It changes. We expand our desire and imagination. We place new expectation. And so as a child grow, they misbehave and we don't accept it because our desire and imagination has changed. Whereas initially all we care about is that child is alive and breathing and eating. So when the child is a teenager and they go out and they come home late and we get angry and we don't accept that, well, that's because our own desire and imagination has changed. But if we go back and just remember that, oh, my desire and imagination for this child is just that he or she is breathing and eating and healthy. And I can find it to be very accepting, very tolerant, very magnanimous, right? We forget our desire and our imagination. We start fixating it, and so we suffer the lack of acceptance. Similar in marriage. When we first get married, we have a certain desire and imagination. When we first fall in love, I just want to I just want to be with you. That's it. I just want to be with you. Okay. But as we continue to live each other, our desire and imagination changes. It is no longer fixated on just being with you. Now you have to do this. Now you have to be that. And when that person doesn't match with our desire and imagination, which has changed, because from us, we changed it. We change, not them. And so we find it difficult to accept. But all we got to do is go back and remember our vow. Remember that our initial desire and imagination for that person, right? Marriage vow, to have and to hold in sickness and in health, for richer or for poorer. That's why some people will go through a ceremony of refreshing their marriage after 30, 50 years or something. They get to do a wonderful second wedding to the same person. It refreshes their marriage. To be accepting of another person is to remember our initial desire and imagination for that person. As long as it doesn't change, then that person, because our initial desire and imagination, in other words, our initial expectation of that person is very small. And because our expectation change, we change. And so we expect the other person to change to match our own desire and imagination. And when they don't, we suffer. We cannot accept. Simple key to being accepting is to remember our desire and our imagination. Okay? And so that is the material expression of tolerance, okay, which is respect, understanding, and accepting. Okay. Accepting others, allowing them to do things that we may not personally approve of within certain limit in order to orient them toward voluntary pursuit of the good. Okay, voluntary pursuit of the good. If we clearly define the limits and we respect them, we understand them from a total causality, and we accept them, we don't blame them for anything, then in general, a person would feel very free to voluntarily pursue the good, to develop themselves, to become a better person, because they feel they've been respected, they feel they're understood, they feel they have been accepted, and so they just automatically, spontaneously will become a better person, both in marriages, in parent and children relationship, as well as in business, right? A boss who is tolerant, set the limit, and respect their employee, understand them, accept them, give them freedom to do whatever they want. Generally, the employee would feel free to contribute. Different from the boss who micromanage everything. This is wrong, you're doing this wrong, you're doing da 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 da. Not very effective at human relation when you lack tolerance, when you lack a defined limit, and we lack respect or understanding and acceptance. Okay. Let me tell you another story about magnanimity. Okay, why magnanimity is such um, a beautiful concept. Can I tell you a story about two angels who have descended to earth? Okay, this is not from any particular religious background, but there's an idea. There's a little angel who lives in heaven, and one day she wanted to spend time with humanity. She wanted to come down to earth and live with humanity. And so she asked permission from the Lord of Heaven, and for permission to come down to live with humanity. And the Lord of Heaven says, "Why would you want to go down to earth and live with human being? There's so much dangers and so much anger and resentment." Okay, and the angel say, "No, I just want to live with humanity for a while and see what it's like." And the Lord of Heaven says, "Do you know that if you go down and live with a human being, you have to be like human being?" Okay, you will forget your angelic nature, your good nature, and it's going to be very difficult for you to find your way back up to heaven. Okay, and the little angel said, "Yeah, I know. In order to come back to heaven, I have to be magnanimous and loving." Right? There was mercy, which is loving. Okay, magnanimity is a form of love. I have to be magnanimous and loving in order for me to go back to heaven. Okay. Um, And of course, in order to do that, in order to do that, I have to encounter a lot of people who will challenge me, people who will give me cups of poison, and I will have to be able to forgive them, to be merciful, or to tolerate them for me to express the virtue of magnanimity, thereby earning my way back up. Okay. Um, And so the Lord of Heaven say, yeah, that is correct. Okay, you're gonna have to earn your way back up. But and so I'm gonna help you. Okay, I'm gonna help you. I suggest that you bring a friend. May I suggest that you bring a friend? And this friend is gonna make sure that you get the quickest way to come back to heaven by being that person who challenged you. So the little angel has a best friend, and the best friend volunteered to come down along with her. And that little best friend basically said that, okay, I want to help you come back up to heaven really quickly. So I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to be the person who will get in your face and offend you and give you a bunch of cup of poison as much as I can. And that way, you will get all the opportunity that you can in order to be forgiving, to be merciful, to be tolerant, and to be magnanimous, thereby earning your way back up to heaven. The only thing that I ask that you remember is that whenever you meet a person who offend you, who hurt you, who give you a cup of poison, just remember that it is me, your best friend. Okay, so basically the two little angel embraced each other, and then they came down to earth. And the conversation. basically touches the heart of the Lord of Heaven and many, many other angels. And so through many lifetime, the little angel have existed as a human being, and her best friend has always constantly find ways to challenge her, to offend her, and to give her a cup of poison so that she would have to learn to be magnanimous, earning her way back up to heaven. Okay, so the story remind us that each of us is a heavenly being. Okay, we are whole, perfect, and complete by nature, but because we have initiated a choice of coming to this life, this dimension, this world, this earth to live as human being, we get to encounter our best friend every day. And our best friend could take the form of our parent, our children, our co-worker, and they will challenge us, they will offend us, they will give us a cup of poison, and how we choose to respond to that best friend will earn us a ticket back to heaven. Right? And so that story, plus the story of the girl and the dilapidated house on the wood, and who in our lives have we been holding on to as a grudge, as some anger and resentment? Who have we been imprisoning only to be harming ourselves? And in that house, are we still there? Have we freed ourselves yet? Can we afford to be magnanimous? Can we afford to be tolerant, to be merciful, to forgive? Let's do some sharing.
I never thought of that way, but yeah, I mean, while I've gone through life and experiences, all my failures, I never at that moment, yes, but after time passed, I just they're just failures. You can change, you do something else, you improve, and just yeah, don't focus on the past anymore. So that's like just tolerating myself now. Yeah. But I do see that through through my mom, I still have that attachment. And yeah, she still triggers my human nature and my emotions at times. And yeah, I just have to be more tolerant with her. I mean, I have to just look down, deep down, and say, yeah, what is it that I desire about her? I mean, and yeah, if you love that person, there's always this saying, if you love that person, just let it go.
Set them free. Yeah. If
Yeah,
you love somebody, set them free.
yeah,
If they come back, it was meant to be.
yeah.
Set
So
them free.
just set it free.
Yeah,
Yeah,
set them free. If not for them, then for yourself. If not for yourself, then for them.
yeah, yeah. So that's my experience. But yeah, I can see. I mean, there were situations where yeah, I lingered on the anger and lingered on revenge, right? So, but as time passed, like there's no point. Like like why? I did see how it created motivation at that point, but even that motivation just dies. It just died down. I'm like why? Why linger on this anger for this motivation? Just it's it makes your body, it makes yourself feel so negative as well, right? So that's when I started try to do some meditation and just like, okay, let's just let everything be. Let everything be is the word I do.
The the mind, the emotion has a very deep and strong link to the physical body, especially your internal organ, your soft tissues. It is a nervous system thing. I have diabetes, type 2. Okay. In 2012, I was diagnosed with diabetes. It is not a genetic thing, and people in my family did not have diabetes. I was not really obese. Okay. Um, but in 2012, I started getting I started getting weaker and weaker, getting more tired and just weak and pale. And I would be craving sugar, craving sweet. I would eat a lot of carb, eat a lot of sugar. My mom would buy a bunch of grape, and I would sit there and eat the entire,
It's
bunch of grape
yeah,
from the supermarket,
yeah.
and while sitting and watching TVs and stuff like that. And as my health was getting, weaker and weaker, my mom told me, Frank, you gotta go to the doctor and get checked out. You don't look well. And
Mhm.
I went to the doctor, and the doctor do the finger prick and then check my blood sugar, and it didn't even register on the scale.
Yikes.
It says high.
Yeah.
And the nurse said that I think the scale goes up to 400, and it says high. I mean, it was above 400.
Wow. Yeah.
Um, and the doctor looked at it, oh, okay, Frank, you're in what he considered a crisis, okay,
Yeah.
a health crisis,
Yeah.
metabolic crisis. And they say, in my conscience, I cannot let you walk out of this clinic. You have two choices. I mean, you seem fine. You're not on the floor yet, so you seem
Yeah.
fine. So you have two choices. Either I call 911 and have the ambulance, you know, drive you to the hospital. I say, I don't really need the ambulance. I think I can drive myself to the hospital. And the doctor said, and if you want to drive yourself to the hospital, you have to sign a waiver. You have to sign a waiver, basically releasing the clinic and the
Yeah.
doctor from any liability. Should I fall and collapse on the way there? Okay, because they had released me, and it would be like a waiver of medical waiver, something like that. Okay,
Hmm.
against medical advice. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so anyway, I go into the hospital and they check my blood sugar. Yeah, it was really high. They gave me a couple of bags of IV fluid, a bunch of insulin, and brought it down to about 400, where it was registerable on the meter. And I was on insulin for the next 2 years or so.
Mm.
And then to this day, I'm still on medication. Okay, it's under control with medication. But during this time, this whole years of journey, I did some research. On the one hand, uh, science explained that diabetes, especially type 2 diabetes that are brought on midlife and stuff like that, they explain it in the physical, biological way. Your pancreas is not working very well. It is creating insulin that is not working well, and so or some people are resistant to insulin. So it's very cellular and biological. And a lot of that could be caused by too much too much sugar will hold on to the cholesterol, which will deposit in uh, your capillaries and would reduces the circulation to your body, including your pancreas. Okay. But they are not, science is not able to explain deeper root of it.
The root cause. Yeah.
At the root cause of it. And as I was exploring and researching, I discovered that the there's a mental and emotional and spiritual cause to diabetes, which actually can be explained by science on a neurological perspective. It is a neurological disease as much as it is a metabolic disease. And this is how it works. The pancreas is linked to the brain, to the neural system, in processing sweetness.
Mhm.
Okay, processing sweetness. If a person eats sugar or carb, you eat sugar and you're telling your brain that, oh, I have sweet, the brain will tell the pancreas to produce insulin and it will process the sweetness. If a person at a young age um, and through a long period of time do not experience sweetness from a emotional and spiritual sense, it will cause the pancreas to diminish. It doesn't feel the need to wake up and do the work. It basically atrophy.
Mhm.
I kind of like your muscle. If you don't work out your muscle,
Yeah.
it atrophy. Same thing with your pancreas. A person who grows up feeling that they don't get the kind of love and sweetness and affection from parents, from people around them, and carry the sense of resentment, it's basically telling the pancreas that there's no sweetness. You don't need to work. And so that will bring on diabetes.
Mhm.
From a neurological perspective, if you're not eating sweetness, then your pancreas feel like you're not, there's no need to work. It's atrophy. From a spiritual and mental and emotional perspective, a person who feel they don't get enough love or affection from parents, it will also manifest in diabetes. Okay, so oftentimes when I talk to people who have diabetes and stuff like that, especially if it brought on and later on in life, it is usually because they have gone through a long period of time, decades, often years and decades, of feeling that they have not received enough love, not enough sweetness. It's a sense of sweetness because it is not the sugar that will, yeah, on the one hand, the sugar will activate the pancreas from producing insulin, but sweetness itself, like when you're eating artificial sweetener, there's no calorie in that. It's not sugar, but your brain detect that as sweetness, and there's an insulin spike. It'll actually cause your pancreas to produce more insulin because your brain detects sweetness. But if a human being go through a long period of time and not feel love, not feel sweetness, the pancreas will diminish,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. Didn't
So
know.
yeah. So on a medical, perspective, they just give you medication, metformin,
Hmm.
to stimulate the production of metformin is a wonderful medication, but
Hmm.
it is the material
Yeah.
aspect of the causality.
Yeah.
You can give yourself sweetness from a spiritual and emotional level by starting to love yourself, by coming to an awareness that I am deserving of love, by being magnanimous to yourself. If your parent didn't give you love, then you give yourself love. Or you switch the perspective to my parent did love me, they just love me a different way. And it is my own cognition, my own awareness and perception, my own hearing and seeing of other people that I interpret as lack of love or lack of sweetness. Because I live in the same family as my sister with the same environment. But the way I see, the way I hear, my hearing and my seeing is different. That my brain, my nervous system interpret that as a lack of sweetness. Right? So it is all me. Root cause of life begin with me. And you can, by understanding that root cause of life begin with me, understanding the root cause formula, understanding causality, the seed, the affinity, the fruit, we can shift our perspective, shift our awareness, and begin to receive sweetness. You can be sweet to yourself. And the next time mom or dad say something that we previously have considered that to be disrespectful or unwelcome, now we understand the definition of understanding. We understand that they do that and they say that because of their root cause. Okay, we can't blame them, and we also are able to switch ourselves to positivity. We use the principle of light. So instead of focusing on the negative things that our parents say or done, we go back to level one wisdom, find the one or two things that we consider a good, and you magnify that, make a big deal out of it, right? Whereas previously we make a big deal out of negative thing, now we have wisdom, level one, we magnify the good thing. And when we magnify the good thing, right, we light up the house, we magnify up the good thing. It's like bringing all the good things into your house, and there is no room for darkness. And being grateful is one of those things. We'll practice gratitude when we talk about gratitude. And you can begin by practicing gratitude, being grateful for everything, and you start thinking about your being grateful for your pancreas. Every time we eat, just talk to your pancreas. Hey, let's go to work together. I really appreciate you helping me all this year. Let's keep on working. Let's get some insulin out there. You can build a relationship with your own pancreas. And relate to your liver, all related because pancreas and your liver work together. Okay. So it begins with the energy of love and tolerance and magnanimity that we can afford to ourselves. And when we change our perception and awareness of other people and how they relate to us, we can transform ourselves. Yeah. Okay. So you can, if you have any physical ailment, I think you mentioned gout or something like that, go on ChatGPT and say, what is the spiritual origin of gout? And see if you can dig in something and maybe find some truth on a emotional and mental level.
Yeah.
Because chronic illnesses are not helped by modern medicine very well. Right? Medicine and doctors, initially, a healer, a doctor is his purpose, in traditional ancient ways is a healer. You come to a doctor and you expect to get better. The disease has to go away. You take the medication, it could be a bit of medicine, and your disease go away. But nowadays, you take medication, it's not to get rid of the disease. You just kind of perpetuate the illness. So that's like nurturing the disease. All right, we take insulin, we take metformin, we take whatever it is the doctor gives us. They don't actually cure our diseases. And I'm glad that um, in your in your sharing on the source concept, you say you want to cure. I like that. Let's go for the cure instead of just treatment. Then I think it is possible. I think it is possible through this philosophy to cure diabetes. If we have enough magnanimity, if we have enough love and tolerance and forgiveness for ourselves and for other people, I think we can transmute that. You get that? Yeah.
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 Looking forward to that honoring gratitude.
Okay.
30-day challenge. Just say thank you for everything.
Yeah.
Positive attitude.
I think on Wednesday we'll finish up on magnanimity. We'll talk about the energy and the source concept of magnanimity, and then we'll go down to we'll talk to honoring gratitude. It'll be a 30-day challenge.
Mhm.
Just being so grateful and yeah, I think it'll be transformative.
Yeah, I see how that would develop self-love as well. So
Yeah. Nguyen, are you still on the Zoom, Nguyen?
Yes, I am on the Zoom.
Kindly share your lesson, impression, and realization today.
Yeah. Um, mm,
Did you finish the one on serenity?
Yeah, I started it, but I haven't finished it yet.
Any impression on those on that lesson?
Mm, I like this. The lesson is to my lesson. I learned that forgiveness. Um, I learned that there's a toxic things also not only for the one who growing holding the anger, but also the person who's receiving it. So if you actually really love or care for somebody, you have to think about that. So maybe um, if I ever have any anger toward anybody or expressing anger, maybe I have to think, okay, is this someone that I love and not wanting to hurt their feelings? And I don't do that. uh, I also realized that I really don't have any arguments or angers normally within my family, like my spouse, my kid. I don't yell at them. So I'm practicing. I'm practicing. I'm basically practicing it every day, I guess.
What about yourself? Do you hold any ever blame yourself for anything?
Uh, well, sometimes I blame myself, but yeah, like I don't have enough time for my family or not spending time with my brother when he was young because I went away.
See, yeah, they're there, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Um, and those are the things that I cannot take back, and there's nothing I can do about it. So I
Okay.
forgive myself.
Okay, let's take that,
um,
slowly. Okay, just because you have an intelligent mind, you're a smart person. I know that you can get the material very quickly on a conceptual, informational level. But see, we can get down to a deeper emotional level, right? The this idea of your brother, and then and whatever it is that you have done that you maybe have blamed yourself. Can you truly, authentically let it go?
mm, it's uh yeah, I mean I can try to let it go. It's yeah, I that's something I need to work on, I guess. It's not like it's torturing me. It's like
Mhm.
the subconscious thoughts. Sometimes when subconscious stuff is there and it's hard to get rid of. It's like deep in there. You have to dig it out.
Okay, so when you say go to work on it, what does it mean? What do you do to go to work
Um,
on it?
I guess I just have to forgive myself. Yeah. Instead of working on it, just have to like let it go and accept it. Nothing I can change.
Okay. It'll be more helpful when we talk about honoring gratitude, because letting it go and even trying to detach is um, can be akin to trying to remove the darkness from the room. Right.
Sure.
Just saying, I don't want to blame you anymore, or I want to let it. It's like trying to
That's
remove the
true.
dark. Right. We will find that it is difficult to let go, because it is equivalent to trying to say, I'm going to remove the resentment from the room. I'm
True.
going to remove the darkness. Darkness, I'm going to remove the darkness. How am I going to remove the darkness
Right.
and expect the room to come in?
How
The,
about we put it that
the light to
way?
come in,
Yeah.
right? That's why we can't let go. That's why it's been with us
Okay.
for so many years. And even though we know conceptually that we don't want it, we've been trying to remove the darkness, remove the resentment,
Right.
remove the anger, remove the blame. It doesn't work.
Yeah, I guess in another way, if we put it differently, I could say I am grateful for the time that I was away from him when he was baby, so I can go work on my career, and then I was able to bring him over to America and give him a better future. He can go to the university, graduated, and working, and support himself. And now he's married and supporting his wife.
Wow.
So I guess is in itself it's a good thing.
Wow. Do you notice, Sandy, you notice the energy just changed? She started saying, and the way she was saying it is now totally different. We're in a completely different reality at this moment when you talk
True.
about
Yeah.
gratitude.
Yeah.
Amazing, huh? That's pretty amazing
Yeah.
when you talk about the gratitude. Okay. So
Yeah.
you guys can, that's how you can practice. Okay. And we'll practice that officially together as a group when we do the 30-day challenge of gratitude. Okay. And another point that you made earlier about spending time. Okay.
Mhm.
Did you remember the discussion on the sense of time and versus the value of time?
Yeah.
Okay. So if let's say you don't have a lot of time, okay, how do you improve the quality or the value of that time that you spend with your son or your spouse? How do we increase the value of time?
I guess it's to when I am with him, have to be 100% totally. So
Mhm.
it's increase of quality of time.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
remember somewhere in the lesson you say time for some people can be unlimited, and then you can go back to the past or bring back the
Yeah,
past, something like
okay.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That you review that lesson. Okay. I think what lesson is that? I'll send it. I'll send you on the group to let you know the tip on the time. But yeah,
Yeah.
your sense of time, your value. Let's talk about the value of time depends on our awareness and perception,
Mm.
which is our imagination. When we think about the past, just now, you think about your brother. Okay, you
Mm.
think about your brother. That is the
Mm.
past, right? What you've
Right.
done. Well, first of all,
Right.
we cannot exist in the past. We can never live in the past. We can
Yeah.
never live in the future. We can only think about the past or we talk about the future. All of that is imagination, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about the past, but the thing about our subconscious mind, our unconscious mind, it can't tell the difference whether something is real or something is imagination. So when we're talking about the past, we're imagining the past, the subconscious mind is actually thinking that we're experiencing that reality. So when we're imagining and talking about the past in a negative way, okay, then your subconscious is thinking, is feeling, oh, I'm experiencing that reality. And if that
Mm-hmm.
reality about the past, about my brother, about my mom, or whoever, that is negative, guess what? That is a negative seed that you're planting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so from a causality perspective, our imagination, our thought about an event, whether we associate it in the past or associate it in the future, it doesn't really matter. It has no meaning to the subconscious. It's all present.
Mm. It's true.
So when we think about the past and we think about it negatively, we are planting a negative seed. Every time we think about it, we feed it more energy, negative energy.
Mm-hmm.
The will to hear, the will to see, the will to talk, the will to know. Okay, Mr. Will and the gardener, the Mr. Will and the gardener, every time we think about the past, Mr. Will is fertilizing it with negativity,
Mm-hmm.
watering it with negative water. And so that seed is going to grow up to a tree. It will reap the fruit of negativity.
Yeah.
Our experience of that person, it's going to be negative.
Mhm.
And so we do time travel. We think about the past, but we think of it positively. That's time travel. We think about the past, but we think of it negative, positively, with gratitude, with
Mhm.
love, with magnanimity. Every time we think about the past, we water it with serenity, right? Peace, serenity, magnanimity. Then we have essentially, planted different fruit, different seed, and that seed is going to grow to a tree. It'll bear positive and balanced fruit. That is
Mhm.
time travel. Similar to the future, our subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between the future and the past. When we think about the future, the subconscious mind is actually experiencing as the present.
Mhm.
So when we think about tomorrow, we think about, financial freedom instead of thinking about worry, right? When we think about the future, usually accompanies worry and anxiety. Are we going to pay the bill? Are we going to have enough this and have enough that? But
Mhm.
instead of fertilizing it with negativity, you now fertilize it with serenity, peace and joy,
Mhm.
magnanimity. And then we'll learn about gratitude.
Yeah.
And so our subconscious mind is experiencing that future as the present. And you keep on fertilizing it, nurturing it. It's gonna bear fruit into a positive future when we get there. Oh, the power subconscious mind is so powerful. We only use 10% of it, and there's 90% of unlimited possibility that we can tap into. But understanding causality, understanding human nature is the way to go. That's time travel.
Hey.
You actually change your future, thereby changing your present, right?
Mhm.
Because when we're thinking about the future and we're thinking of it negatively, then guess what? We're actually experiencing negativity at this point.
Mhm.
Remember the story of the vacation trip, right? Vacation trip. We're working hard. Okay, it's Friday afternoon, 5 p.m. We're working hard. At the end of the day, we have a demanding boss who make us do some more work overtime. Normally, we would feel frustrated after a long week of work, and then boss is giving us more work, and we would feel frustrated. But our
Mhm.
experience at that moment is not frustration because we're thinking about the vacation, which is the future.
Mhm.
Okay, our thinking about the future, the vacation that determine our experience of life in the present. So the future determines the present.
Mhm.
Zooming 2 weeks forward, we're on vacation. Okay, we're lying down on the beach, favorite drink in our hand, our favorite person next to us. We're supposed to enjoy the vacation, but we're miserable because we know that in the hotel room there, the plane ticket will fly us back to that demanding boss. It is the future that determines our present.
Mhm.
So if we know that, we travel to the future, but travel to a positive future. Change our awareness and perception of the future immediately determine the quality of our experience of life in the present.
Mhm.
And if the quality of our life in this moment is positive, then the next moment has a good chance to be positive. And the next moment has a good chance to be positive. And the next moment good chance to be positive. And then eventually our future will also be positive.
Mhm. Okay.
Same thing in our past, right? When we think about
Yeah.
our past and we think of it negatively with regret, oh, I did this, I did that to my brother. Oh, did my parent did this to me. It's negative. Then our experience of that moment, that present, is negative because
Right.
our imagination of the past is negative.
Mhm.
But you do time travel. You go back to the past. You think about the past, but you travel. You change the past. You literally change the past. Change the way we perceive the past.
Mhm.
Change our imagination, our hearing, our seeing, our talking, and our knowing about the past. And immediately it changes our present. See the
Mhm.
power of that?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys are getting it and you're transforming. Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Oh, quick question from Win. Would you like to go to the Thich Nhat
No.
Hanh Monastery in Escondido tomorrow? If you do,
Uh, I'm thinking about it's kind of, I don't know, 9 to 2, right?
then you have to be there before 9 because they do. It's really cool. They do a walking meditation. Okay, we walk in silence through the woods or through the hills. It's beautiful, uh,
Mm.
beautiful a place.
I mean, can we bring a child?
Oh yeah, you can bring a child. Okay,
He can be disruptive. I don't know.
that's okay. It's okay. So you do walking meditation for about an hour or something like that, and you come and then you come in and you just sit down and the monk or the nun will do some talks. Okay, usually on topic of mindfulness. And then at lunch, I love lunch because vegetarian lunch we do meditative eating. Okay, meditative eating.
I
We
did that
eat
with you before, Frank.
maybe yeah with Duke and I think Duke Huang too. Yeah. Okay, so
I
let's do
did
it
it with you
again.
already. Like eat and then there's a bong, everyone stop and then
Yeah.
and eat
Mindfulness
and
eating, right? We talked
bong.
about level 3 awareness and wisdom, being in the present. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
In fact, eating with mindfulness is very, very good for your health because you're giving that nervous system a chance to recognize the food. Most of the time, we eat too quickly. We eat, blah, it comes in and goes quickly, and then all these all this food comes in, and our system has to take a lot of time to had to overwork to figure out and sort out what we're eating and and so it put stress on our digestive system. Okay, put stress on our
Mhm.
digestive system. But we eat in mindfulness. We take a bite, we chew it until it liquefies. Okay, there's a saying: you want to drink your solid, and you want to chew your liquid. Even when you're drinking something, then you kind of chew the water, the liquid, and that gives our nervous system a chance to recognize the content. And the nervous system will tell our digestive system how to properly digest it. Okay. Or if you eat a solid, you chew it like 50 times, it liquefies it. It give while you're chewing it, our tongue, our saliva, our mouth is telling our brain, which our brain is telling our pancreas, our liver, our stomach, and our intestine how to prepare for it. So by the time we swallow it, it comes down and it's completely prepared. You prepare a whole factory for the digestion, and so absorption is maximized. And as a consequence, you get the maximum absorption, the efficiency of the absorption is higher, you actually don't need to eat more. You can eat less and feel more full. You can eat less and get more nutrient. Okay. Whereas we get hungry, eat too much, and then we get our stomach expand really quickly, but our digestive system doesn't know how to process all the food.
Yeah.
So a lot of them will
Okay.
come out or they will become junk
Yeah.
and trash in our system. We're holding on to trash. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's
Alright.
wonderful, wonderful
Yeah.
meditative benefit
I
to
have to
eating.
ask Andrea and let her
Yeah, let
know
me know
and see
today.
if it works. Yeah.
I don't just want to go with my own family, but I want to go with you. Okay,
No, you should
your
go with your
family.
family definitely because we're not sure we can make it. So definitely take your family.
The goal is to build connection. Okay, this is a practice of building connection. Okay, health, physical health, mental health, social health. We haven't talked much about health, but that's what we're getting at. World
Mm.
Health Organization defined health as a state of complete well-being in the physical, the mental, and the social.
Yeah.
Physical, mental, and the social.
I
So
know. My mom just came back from Vietnam, so I need to socialize with her.
bring her, your mom, your dad, bring them to the monastery.
Okay.
It'll be a wonderful day. Okay.
Okay. My phone's
Peace,
gonna die
peace,
soon.
peace,
Just let
peace,
you know.
peace.
Yeah.
And let me know today. Okay. Before
Okay. I'll let you know today.
noon.
Okay.
And do
How
your
much does it
homework.
cost?
It's free. Come on. It's free. You can
Oh,
donate whatever you want.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll ask. Okay, and Frank, thank you so
And
much.
send me your homework, okay? Your source concept homework, The homework that I've interacted with Sen on a group. Thank you so much,
Okay.
Sen, for doing that
Yeah,
homework. You
She
guys can,
should she should also do the visualization as well. It's a good practice.
I
yeah,
did.
do it.
Oh,
Okay, yeah.
the
She did the
Right?
visualize
I did do a
visualization
visualization, right?
the
from
visualization.
using she did the Google Doc version, the Google
Oh,
Doc.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do
Oh,
that.
so Sun did the visualization? What kind? What type?
He did a
The
vision board. You can do the
I did
vision
vision
board
board.
too.
Yeah.
It is a vision board. Basically,
is
just
it?
download or cut up a bunch of magazine pictures that visualizes your future,
Oh,
what you want. Let me
oh.
show you. Let me show you my vision board that I did before, even long before I did study this philosophy. I think I'm pretty proud of my vision board. Give me a moment.
But
Uh,
is that similar to my thing? The thing I did with AI?
yeah, you can do
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I want you to expand on it. Okay. When you do the practice of vision board and when you do the practice of inventing mental images, you are exercising the muscle. You're exercising your power of imagination.
Yes.
It is the power of imagination that help us become creative and be able to solve problems. We stress because we don't see problems. We don't see the solution to our life. But the creative people are able to solve a lot of problems and the problem comes, solution comes easy to them. And so we practice visualization, we practice vision boarding. It is a practice of creativity, and so it activates the mind. Okay, so we can simply solve problem, or in many cases, rise above the problems of life. Let me brag a little bit about my with my vision board. Let me find it.
My phone's dying soon.
It's okay. What's your laptop? Don't you usually get on with your laptop?
No, I usually just use my phone for everything these days.
Okay.
Maybe you could send it in the Telegram
Yeah.
when you find
We
it.
can, we can
Yeah.
go over next time.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
We
Here we
found
go.
it.
Found it. Found it. Share. Screen. Okay. This is when you see that? You see the picture?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Wow.
See, this is when I was during a time when I first dated my wife. Wanted a house, wanted success, wanted a car. This is my wife when she was my girlfriend. Abundance, enough money to give to the poor, right? Meditation, strong health, travel the world. This is Niagara
Yeah,
Fall.
grow. Yeah,
Yeah, grow old. Okay,
grow old together. Yeah,
that's my prison board. Okay,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
me young. That's like 10, 15 years ago.
Really? That's
I
you?
remember that.
Wow. So different.
Who remembers me when I still had the curly and poop up hair?
Wow. Okay.
We go way back. Yeah, college days in college days.
I always wonder how that guy get married to that girl.
I still wonder that myself. I still don't know how that happened.
But
I
I can see why.
don't know why that happened. She saw something in me that even I don't see. So, yeah. But yeah, I hope to see you tomorrow, okay?
Yeah, she picks the right one. She's good.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, okay. And Sen, look up the mind body purification in Canada.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you if you can make a trip
yeah.
to Southern
Hoover.
California and do it with me in August.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
Mind and body. Hey, I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, all
all
right.
right.
Take
Thank you
care.
so
Bye-bye.
much.
Bye.
Bye.